Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. In today's video, I'm going to go over my strategy for farming the Sanctum very quickly and infinitely sustainably. I am also going to go over why you would want to run the Sanctum, why you would choose this particular path over others, as far as why this strategy might be better than, say, like T16 graveyard strategy, for instance. And I'm going to go over how profitable this is, how to make it even more profitable, and just generally going over everything. So, and then right at the end, I'm going to do I'm just going to farm up a quick floor, basically do 8 maps to show how quick it can be done. And yeah, we'll have that all set up. So let's start with why. Why would you want to run the Sanctum? Well, there's a lot of great rewards. So you can get some of these nice sanctified relics here that can have all sorts of good stats on them that you can use for your character. For instance, this one has 40 crit chance for spells and 8% increased damage per power charge. So any power charge stacking caster would love to have this. And this one is great for any Ignite or Righteous Fire build with 25 fire damage and 20 fire damage over time multi. You can also, for both the regular relics as well as the sanctified relics, trade them 5-to-1. So there's actually a couple of decent ones in here, but I'm just going to demonstrate. So even if you get an excessive amount of them and they start filling up your inventory, as long as they're the same kind, so this is a these all have the like little scale thing, you can trade them 5-to-1 and bam, I have a new one. So I can check that out, and it's increased effect of non-damaging ailments. I was looking for it or hoping for a 2-mod one, but that's okay. 30% is a top roll for that, so if I needed more, shock and chill, I could throw that on. But yeah, you can get some pretty cool ones. I have a faster attack speed one. On top of that, you can get these new unique relics that allow you to make the Sanctum harder in order to get benefits. Like this one, I'll get 2 additional sanctified relics for beating the final boss. But the rooms are unknown on the Sanctum, and you can only use these once. There are also really cool uniques. I showed off like Sandstorm Visage. There's a really nice amulet that's very common, but has like a large range of rolls and is potentially very overpowered. And then there's like this Balance of Terror, which is a very interesting one. This one I have is very good for a poison seismic trap character, because they use temporal chains to increase the duration of their poison. This one gives cooldown recovery if you've cast temp chains recently, which means you'll lower the cooldown of seismic trap, and it also gives you action speed can't be slowed below base value if you've cast temp chains. You can get stuff like this, all sorts of good uniques and stuff. So very good reason to run it. So what map am I running? I am running Coves. So the reason I'm running Coves, I'll just pull up the layout here. It is you're always in the middle, and it's a very small map. You can very quickly find the Sanctum every time, and it is going to be very quick to run through. In my experience, when I'm speed farming, it's like 2 to 20 seconds to get the Sanctum each time you do it, and I'll show that shortly. And if you have an even faster build than mine, or if you have better load times than I do, because my computer's a little slow, so my load times aren't great, you can probably do it even faster than that. So there are 2 phases to this. There's the map accumulation phase and the running phase, and you basically kind of alternate between those unless you want to just buy Coves. Last I checked, there were 4 chaos per for tier 14 Coves. And the strategy we are using is going to be a Wandering Path and Shadow Shaping. So what Wandering Path does is it makes notable Atlas passive skills grant nothing, so none of the big nodes do anything. As you can see, they're blank. But 100% increased effect of small Atlas passives. What this does is it makes all these little nodes double. So The important thing to note here is we want to take all these adjacent map drop chance and map drop duplications. So you see if I type in connected, I have a 140% chance for one monster in each of your maps to drop an additional connected map. And then if I type in dupe, I have a 37% chance for map drops to be duplicated. So stacking both of these, basically what that means is we have a 100% chance for a connected map to drop, and then a 40% chance for a second copy of that connected map to drop over the course, or for a second connected map to drop, but it will be one specific one based on shadow shaping, which I'll go over in a second. And then there's also a 37% chance for map drops to be duplicated. This means for the strategy, using shadow shaping, which means maps found cannot be favored maps, and the next one isn't that important, that second line, but the maps found can't be favored maps is very important. It means we can block off all of the connected maps to our two chosen maps, making it so they can only drop as connected maps to each other. Because of the duplication chance and the chance for adjacent maps to drop, we will guarantee to drop in between 1 and 4 of the adjacent map that we choose every single time. This gives us infinite sustain, and they can also drop naturally. I find that we have an average of 2 of the adjacent drops, or the adjacent map drop for each map. So how exactly do we get this set up? So you need enough points to at least get Wandering Path, Shadow Shaping, and then all of both the adjacent and the duplicate, or the duplicating and adjacent nodes, with the most important one being the adjacent one. You'll also need 3 Watchstones because we are running Atoll as tier 14. So using that strategy, I am using the 2 maps, Coves and Atoll. Which means you need 3 Watchstones, you need 7 favored map slots, but the more the better. I still haven't gotten Maven and the Feared down yet, but I'll grab that at some point. I've been focusing on this. And then what you do is each map that's connected by a little dotted line, you put as one of your favored maps. So you put Bog, Acid Caverns, Plateau, Moon Temple, Cage, Arachnid Tome, and Arachnid Nest. Those 7 maps have to be in your favored map slot. So you need 3 Watchstones, 7 favored map slots. Once you have that, every time you run an Atoll, you're guaranteed to drop 1 to 4 Coves, and every time you run Coves, you're guaranteed to drop 1 to 4 Atolls. And nothing you roll on the map has any bearing on that. You can run it completely white, and you're still going to get, if you full clear the map, between 1 and 4 of the adjacent map. So if you're running Atoll, you always get Coves. If you're running Coves, you always get Atoll. You'll drop other maps, of course, and those will also have a potential chance to get duplicated, so you can kind of build a separate map pool that way. So that is how we accumulate our map pool. And basically during the map accumulation phase, we just kind of alternate running those two until we get a good chunk. Like right now, I have more Atolls than Coves. Part of that is because I pulled 8 Coves out. But yeah, you just alternate running them until you basically more or less fill up your thing, and then you want to run all of your Coves, and you can do 32 at a time. Basically do 8, run a floor, or do 9 or whatever, because you can save 8 and run the 9th, and just keep pumping them out that way. It's very fast. The second thing to note, we are doing Eater of Worlds. Why are we doing Eater of Worlds? Because it takes about 2 or 3 seconds to proc the Eater of Worlds. So you'll get one of these little Eater of World progress ticks that you need 28 of as soon as the Eater of World mobs are spawned onto your map. You don't have to do anything other than that. And currently the invitation for Eater of Worlds is going for over 165 chaos. When I started doing this the other day, they were going for 130 chaos, and then yesterday they were at like 150, and today they're over 165. So they keep going up and up. And I've been selling those. And if you are in the map accumulation phase, I find that I get like about 1.5 Eater of Worlds per hour. And when I'm just blasting these maps, I can get 3 or 4 Eater of Worlds invitations per hour. That adds a very significant, like 2.5 or so divine profit. That's very easy. And the best thing is, Coves is actually one of the easiest maps to find the map boss on. The map boss can only spawn in one of these 4 locations, and it's all very close to the circle you're running anyway. So you just have to make sure that you kind of pay attention when you're putting your maps in to where your progress is. Like when it starts getting close, check how many maps and keep a mental note. And then just make sure you kill the boss on that run. You can do the mid one as well, but that's only worth like 2 chaos, at least the last time I checked it was, and I don't like running it personally. So I just skip past that. It doesn't like stop your progress if you do not run on the 14th one. It just keeps going until you get to 28. So yeah, that is one way we're doing it. During the map accumulation phase, I also do Eater of Worlds, and then I just do altar farming. So I just elk and go. Altar farming, and what I'm looking for is Veiled Chaos Orbs, Exalts, Divines, Scarabs, and most of the Divination card rewards. Anything else I just leave, like Scours and Fusings you can take if you want, but there's a bunch of rewards like Jeweler's Orbs and Alterations that are kind of a waste. And so Grand Elder, what are they called? Grand Eldritch Ichors as well, because these small ones aren't worth a lot of chaos. I don't really find them worth. And what you do is, if you have one of the smaller rewards, like say Fusings or Eldritch Ichors, or if it's like just a couple of rewards that aren't very valuable, you just skip the altars. And the reason you do that, I found this out the hard way once and then benefited from it the other way. Because if the last altar on your map spawns, like I had an Exalt, 4% chance for Exalts to drop, but it dropped right at the end of my map. But luckily I had skipped 4 altars that didn't have good rewards. So I went back and I had 4 guaranteed packs, and I was able to get 7 Exalts from that map when I would have gotten 0 if I was just doing my altars. And the best part about that is both Coves and Atoll are such small and easy to run maps that it doesn't take you long to go back and pick up those altars. And if you don't get anything good, you simply just leave the altars on the map and leave the map. So you can add a decent amount of profit per hour that way as well. I find that each Sanctum will generate about 1.5 average Sanctified relics, and about 2 divines worth of raw divines and or currency on average per Sanctum run on tier 14 or higher. And the reason we do tier 14, I should explain this too, because this is very important. There's a very good reason we do this and we don't do Graveyard. 2 reasons. First of all, you don't lose any rewards for doing tier 14s. So not only is Coves a little bit faster than Graveyard, because Graveyards sometimes the Sanctum will spawn down in these little offshoots that can spawn in the map, whereas you never have that with Coves, because Coves is so centralized. You never have like the weird awkward one that you have to go out of your way for. So that never happens, making it a little bit more efficient and a little bit more mindless and easy. Second of all, because it's tier 14 and not tier 16, Graveyard is a natural 16 map, so you can't ever get a tier 14 version of it. Because of that point, it scales, the monsters scale, so the bosses do a little less damage and have a little less health, so it makes it safer and faster. Like if the bosses are killed instantly instead of like the final boss on tier 14, if I do it on a tier 16, sometimes I don't kill it fast enough to just kill it before it can do any of its mechanics. On tier 14, I've never even had to look at its second attack. It always does the little wave thing. or the little beam thing, and it never gets to the annoying wave phase where you have to like dodge the different waves. So because of that, it's much safer. You're basically guaranteed, if you have like a high DPS build, to always kill the final boss. So you don't have to worry about it. If you have like 3 divines sitting there banked, you don't have to like weigh the decision of, oh, should I or should I not kill the second form of the final boss. You never have to worry about that on tier 14s. Or at least you worry about it less. Like if you have a weaker build, it's also going to be better because you know, your chances are higher of being able to kill the final boss just generally, and all the previous bosses are going to be easier as well. So although the first 2 bosses I personally find to be completely trivial regardless, but just mechanically. But anyway, so that's my reasoning. You can make good profit from that. You make a lot just from selling the screaming invitations. Now, if a lot of people start doing this and selling screaming invitations and those go down, and not a lot of people are doing the incandescent, you just switch up your strategy. You just start doing the Searing Exarch altars instead. It doesn't matter which one you do. I'm only doing this one because, first of all, I like the jackpot possibility of getting those big divines. I've hit multiple Exalt altars. I've hit 1 divine altar, which was a 4 divines from the final boss. Unfortunately, I misclicked on it and instead got like 4% chance for a greater Eldritch Ichor, so that was a bad time. And I've gotten Veiled Chaos twice as well. I've also gotten Polished and Gilded Scarabs, and I have, from the Divination rewards, gotten quite a few Patience as well, which can be turned in as nurses. And the Divination card that drops other Divination card chance 1, I assume can drop nurses as well. So because nurses can be turned into the doctor, which is another divination card. I haven't gotten any nurses yet, but I've gotten plenty of patients. So that is another thing that can add to your profit per hour. So now that I've gone over all of that stuff, I'm just going to quickly run 8 coves. I believe let me double check. I believe, I just finished out my first 9 rooms. So I'm basically just going to fill up my thing. This is going to take me a little longer than it normally would. So I'm at 17:15 is the video time right now. So basically what you do is you just run down one of these openings, and then you start circling around, and you want to kill enough stuff so that you see the little pop showing. So now I see the guys coming out of the ground, so I know Eater of Worlds has popped. And with that, I defer this, and then I just run back into the center. And that took me a little less than 30 seconds, so... But yeah, you just do it again. And the one thing I do is, if I do spawn an altar for Eater of Worlds, I will go ahead and check that out, because it is possible. Oh, and I also like to do the bosses just in case they drop Guardian maps if I happen upon them, like you do there. That's another nice thing about this. I've gotten a decent chunk of like Guardian maps. Okay, I spawned the Eater of Worlds. Now I can pop into here. Misclick and do that, and then just jump back right into the middle. And I didn't see any altars, but yeah, I'll check the altars just to make sure no divines drop. And yeah, I'm getting some atolls as well. I should probably move these while this is loading so I don't get them confused with the other maps. Although atoll also spawns this pretty quick. You can actually speedrun atolls because the majority of the time they jump into the first opening. So this time it is right towards the beginning. So it would take, if I didn't want to pop the Eater of Worlds, there you go, pop the Eater of Worlds, I would literally have just jumped in. It would have taken 2 seconds. But yeah, we get back out. And next. Yeah, and if you have a faster computer than me as well, and while that's loading, you can also like put away your other maps in your stash, which or anything else you pick up off the ground. But yeah, same kind of thing. Get that going, run around, make sure we pop Eater. I'm gonna kill the boss since we're here real quick. Nothing there. Grab this. I can't blink over that boat apparently. And there you go. We're already halfway through a floor. And the floors themselves don't take much longer to run. And yeah, this is with my explaining as well, so it would normally be even quicker than this. Especially if you're if you've got yourself a faster computer. Oh, I will go ahead and pick up maps. Grab drops. Okay, got the eater to spawn. So I'm just gonna like attack things to keep my flask up. And boom. Okay, and back to the middle we go. And 3 more to run. These here. There you go. I always keep things in those top slots if I don't want to accidentally mess them up. But yeah, as you can see, my load times are super slow, which slows us down. But we've still only been doing this for 3 minutes. And yeah, we already got 5 floors banked, even with my insanely low or insanely slow loading times. There you go. All right. It's right here, so we just need to make sure we pop the eater. I guess I could jump in and pop it afterwards. Okay, I got it. There you go. Got that. Get that. Get out. Yep. And last 2. Go ahead and toss these maps while I'm loading up the portals. Get in. And all right, we just hit the 4-minute mark, and that's with loading times, with my very, very slow loading times. And we only, okay, pop the eater, get in there, and we're at 7 out of 8 now. And yeah, last one. All right, and same kind of thing. Just try to get the eater to pop. It popped. Make our little circle. Get stuck on stuff. I am gonna check that altar just in case it's divines, lesser and duplicated. Nope. Okay. And while you're doing the map accumulation, I wouldn't do any league content except, all right, and we're done. So that's an entire floor banked right there, really quick. Yeah, just another tip I was gonna say. The only league content I would do while you're doing the map accumulation phase is delirium mirrors, the heist chests, essences, and strong boxes, because none of those take any additional time basically, or just like literally a moment. So I would recommend only doing those and skipping all other league content, even while you're doing like the altar farming to get your maps. But yeah, you'll generate a ton of maps. You'll generate a lot of sanctums per hour. That whole thing took me less than 5 minutes, even with my slow loading, and you know, I got an entire floor banked up. So the next one I run, I'll do 9 rooms, which is more than a floor. And yeah, I'll be set. So if you want to see me actually like running a sanctum, I can show, I can do a video kind of showing all of my strategies. I've only failed like 2 or 3 sanctums since I got to maps on day 1. So I've got pretty good strategies for doing the sanctums. Overall, I really enjoy this league content, and I hope you do too, and I hope this helps you. Like I said, be versatile, check prices, don't like just get caught in whatever a content creator says. If the other invitations go up, start doing the Searing Exarch altars instead. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.